Hello and welcome to Funny Science Fiction, the live edition. All right, so welcome to Funny Science Fiction, the live edition, the show where we like to play a little game called Whose Cylon Is It Anyway? The game show where the jokes don't matter and the points are all made up.
But before we get into tonight's show, wow, I'm good. I got this. Oh,
no, you don't.
Not a bit. I swear I haven't been drinking this time. I'm just eating candy and got candy stuck. Anyway, before we get into tonight's show, we need to say thank you to our show sponsors, Bridgeworks Studios and Level Up Sabers. However, is this the third week now? Fourth week? Yeah. Bridgeworks still doesn't have a video. So we're going to thank Bridgework in a moment of silence. Anyway, we're done. But let's show the video for Level Up Sabers. And even though he doesn't have a video, he does have a link. So the links for Bridgeworks Studios and Level Up Sabers can be found in the show notes and comment section below. You guys know the drill.
You almost had that into a song. That's kind of impressive. Like that close. So close. All right. And also remind you that you guys can, if you want to, please take a moment to go subscribe. I was going to say just like the banner down below says, but I hadn't started that yet. So now, just like the banner down below says, please remember to like and subscribe. Your subscription to our show helps us to continue to grow and get some amazing guests, not only for our live show here, but for our pre-recorded episodes where we get to talk nerdy with some of the people who make the things, then do the things, and all that kind of stuff. And if you would like to continue to help support Funny Science Fiction, you can, of course, go and follow the link that I'm posting right now in the comments and buy us a coffee. Buying a coffee helps support us and helps offset some of the cost of the everyday cost of getting this show up and out for you guys to be able to enjoy. So those links will be down there in the show notes. Please take a moment and to take a look at those.
If we get enough money from Buy a Coffee, maybe we can get Nick released from the government research facility he's stuck at in Iowa.
Every week, man, we grow that story every week. You realize that, right? The first week it was a testing facility, then it was a government testing facility, and now it's like a locked-in government testing facility in Iowa. Because that's where he's on vacation. So the sugar has gone to your brain meats, and of course, yes, you're going to meet this fine gentleman here in a moment, but that's the scuttlebutt. We're going to talk to them, and yeah, I do have too many buttons to push. I've gotten used to Nick being here. Nick, I am lost without you. He's going to use that as a sound clip forever. I'm used to him pushing the buttons that I don't have to push anymore. He usually does that. All right. Anyway, moving on.
All right. Let's welcome our guests tonight. We have waiting in the green room, Andrew Durning from the SuperGinge Podcast. I hope I said that right.
It's SuperGinge, but it's okay. It's a Scottish thing. Yeah, and also that Mental Ginger show. I'll just put the other plug in there as well.
There you go.
All right, we have our friend Jake the Jedi from the Champions of the Force podcast.
What's going on, guys?
What up, Jake?
Great to be back.
Yeah. Guess who's back? Back. It's going to be stuck in my head now, sorry. And Ro from the Scarif Podcast.
Welcome, Ro.
Hey, everybody. Good to be here.
Excellent. Glad to have y'all here.
What?
I said welcome. Glad to have y'all here.
All right. So before we get into tonight's topics, let's start with Andrew. Can you guys all tell us where the viewers, the listeners, can find you guys?
Well, starting with me, you can find me mainly on YouTube. Search for That Mental Ginger Show, SuperGinge, or The Ginger Engine. There's a running theme here, guys. Just search Ginger. You seem to find me. But yeah, same on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah. Oh, cool. It's like I have a giant background that says where you can find me.
You know, that is convenient.
It's very helpful. He's got a great show as well, by the way. I've been fortunate enough to be a guest on his show. We had a really great time talking, and we've been talking about trying to get him over here. We're finally able to make schedules work, so I'm really glad that we can get Andrew on the show, because even though he does a lot to talk about mental health and things like that, which is an awesome topic, and I was so glad to be a part of that conversation, he also is quite the nerd, and so we're glad to have him here and talk nerdy with us as well.
Yay.
All right, and Jake.
Hello, Crispy.
That's my boy Crispy. He's going to be on my podcast on Thursday.
Awesome.
Excellent.
You can check that out. Speaking of my podcast, again, since I've been here for a while, if there's anyone new, shout out to Funny Sci-Fi. They got me going. They inspired me. So come check out my podcast on YouTube, Champions of the Force. We also have a website where we sell custom painted sabers. Check that out as well.
Excellent.
And last but certainly not least, Ro, where can they find you?
Well, we can be found wherever you get your other favorite podcasts. Just look for Scarif Podcast on all the socials as well. We do a weekly pre-recorded and a weekly Scarif Live, as we call it, on YouTube on Saturdays. And just like to have fun. We are part of the Red 5 Network content creator list of over 37 pods and YouTube channels.
Awesome.
Fantastic. All right.
Corn clowns.
Well, I think that's where Nick is hiding in his government testing facility. He's hiding from the corn clowns.
All right. Corn clowns are terrifying.
All right, guys. So we have Andrew, Jake, and Ro here with us tonight to talk about some fun, nerdy topics. And of course, with everything that's going on the Disney Plus channel, there's so much to talk about with Kenobi. We're going to try and get to Ms. Marvel, which is coming out this upcoming Wednesday. And also, if everybody's had a chance to, we've also, if we have time for it, I want to talk a little bit about Stranger Things Season 4, because that show is off the hook right now. They are, whew, yeah, you might as well just plug your ears, because it's going to get interesting if we have a chance to talk about it. So, anyway, but yeah, so let's start off with Kenobi. Episode 3 was last week. We're looking forward to episode 4. What are your guys' thoughts? How do you feel about it? Any predictions, thoughts, feelings, inspirations?
I'd like to say, first off, holy shnikey.
Yeah.
I agree. I'll second that.
Yeah.
Although now I'm a little bit sad because holy shnikey is an ice cream flavor at our local ice cream shop, and now I want it.
Yeah, I watched most of that episode kind of like, oh, what that's happening? Oh. Oh. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, there was so much that was so good about that episode.
Yeah.
I
am still standing my ground that Vivian Lyra Blair is fantastic as Leia. That is
agreed.
She is
110% what Leia as a 10-year-old would be. And somebody who has the 3-year-old version of that in her house right now. 100%. That is what you expect from that character. That is, honestly, like I keep seeing online, Carrie Fisher would be proud. Carrie Fisher would have that little girl's back with, this is 100%. And when they were in the safe house and she asked to be taught how to use the blaster, and Tala's like, she's going to be a great fighter someday. I'm like, darn straight she is. 100%. Yes, she is. Like, it
was kind of interesting. I watched a TikTok the other day that said that the 3 hairstyles and modes of dress that they've shown Leia in reflect the 3 different versions of Leia that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen her as the the aristocrat, the senator, the princess. You've seen her as the rebel fighter, and you've seen her as a general. And each outfit, and they lined it up, the shots side by side, and I was like, holy crap. It was just one of those cool little innocent little Easter egg nods that you probably wouldn't have missed if somebody had not else brought it to my attention. Right. And I was like, oh man, that is so cool. That is such a cool thing.
And instantly when she showed up for the first time, I'm like, oh, and we have new cosplay options for my daughter.
There you go.
That is 100% going to happen. But like, I am now specifically eyeing the green cloak look. Like, it is that's what I want my mom to make for her, because I might be almost 30, but my mom still sews for me. So
I want to say that I said aristocrat, but it's entirely possible that I said aristocrat.
I think I did
know
hear
me.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know me. Yeah, exactly. And
Wait,
I
who's
know
Tanya?
that. Yeah, that's probably me too. He types like I talk, so we're good. That's my
Time,
that's our admin.
Tim, Kimberly, Timifer.
All right, so
real quick
ahead,
for
Jay.
the Leia thing, we talked about it a little bit on my podcast, but I'm excited to see by the end of this who people put on rankings, Grogu and Mando, or Leia and Obi-Wan.
Leia and Obi-Wan, yeah.
They have good chemistry. I'm not gonna lie.
They really do.
Yeah,
they might be up there for me after this series.
The moment of them in the back of the transport with Freck.
Seth Rogen.
Zach Braff. Zach Braff, the giant mole man. Like when he's talking about missing her mother and she's like, "You knew my mom." It's like, stop lying to the little girl. She's gonna get you. She knows that you're lying to her. She's
too smart.
Yeah.
You know her parents. You know she's not gonna be dumb. You know that she's probably force sensitive, even though they don't think that women are as much. But like, come on. I don't know. I love it.
Okay.
Still a little bit confused about the whole third sister stuff, but I'm sure we'll get that.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Any other thoughts, guys?
No, I'm really enjoying the chemistry, as you guys said, between her and Obi-Wan. I love that Deborah Chow is using some really nice close-ups to see Ewan McGregor. There's a lot of micro expressions there that he has mastered, and they really convey a lot of emotion. I think the Kenobi series, which is a lot different than the trilogy films. The trilogy films are more grand scope. This is going to be more of a personal, character-driven story between Anakin / Vader and Kenobi. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the series pans out, and can't wait for more.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little nervous about the second half of the series, and I say nervous just in the sense that now that Vader's come on screen, they've had this initial reaction, fight, whatever you want to call it, and Obi, you can tell that Obi's, as Vader says to him, the years have made you weak, because he's been out of touch with the Force for so long, hiding himself. I'm excitedly nervous to see what the second half of the series is going to be like, the interactions between them. And I have a sneaking suspicion that somewhere in these next 3 episodes, you're going to see Obi-Wan reach out to Anakin / Vader to try and turn him back to the light side, because there's a comment made by Vader to Luke is that, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. Yeah, to be turned, and there's no other time where we've had an opportunity to see that.
Right.
So now that Vader's in the show, I'm half expecting that somewhere along the line in these last 3 episodes, and I think it's going to be very emotionally intense.
I'm also anticipating a Qui-Gon Force Ghost.
Yeah, they're kind of setting that up. I mean, he's called on him already twice, and if they don't show us that. And that's a good point about the line. I think it was in Return of the Jedi. Obi-Wan once thought as you did. I'm really hoping that they take that into account, because I too am expecting that.
Yeah, I think it has great potential for some dynamic, emotional aspects to come just getting forced on us. See what I did there? Force. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited as well. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little worried, just based off of how people are already reacting to the show. Like, in my opinion, it's great. The 3rd episode was better than the first 2, and I think it's going to get better. But the reason I'm worried is I feel like 3 episodes isn't going to be enough for us to get to where we are in A New Hope, right? So the rumor is that they're doing another season, but at the same time, I don't want them to focus on Vader if they're doing a second season. I want the Vader stuff now. Like, we already started it. Don't drag this out through a whole nother season. Give us the Vader stuff, because how many times are they going to fight before A New Hope? You know what I mean? It was rumored that they do it twice in this season, and if they do a second season focused on Vader, are they just not going to fight the whole second season? I don't believe that. So I am a little worried. I think we're going to get flashbacks next episode, because he's going to be in a back to tank. And then I thought they were going to time jump, because I really don't see how they're going to get Kenobi healed up and ready to fight Vader again in 3 episodes. I don't know.
Right.
The flashback to tank.
Yes. Yes.
You know, I'm kind of curious though about, I want to get your guys' reaction on this. So as much as I love the episode, I have 2 things that kind of annoy me about episode 3.
Can I guess what they are?
I would love for you to guess what they are.
All right. So I also had 2 things, so I'm going to say my 2, and hopefully we line up. So
all right, cool.
My first one was the fact that Vader was like, just at the end, just like okay with him escaping just because of some fire, right? Was that one of them?
Number 1.
Okay, 1. 2, how did Reva get past Leia and beat her there? Was that it?
Yeah, those are both of mine. Yeah.
Let's go. I knew it.
So,
all right. So I had no problems with anything else. I loved
Agreed.
the fact when Vader came out and went after Obi, he was on it. He was ready to go.
Agreed.
And, you know, and then there was the intense moment of him dragging him through the fire so that he could feel what he had felt. And, you know, now you will experience the pain and the anguish and all that. And he was getting his revenge. And I'm like, yeah, that's Prime Vader. He was snapping necks just a couple minutes ago. So yeah, this is Prime Vader. Here we go. And I was like, yeah, this is great. This is what we were expecting. And I was like, man, how's Obi-Wan going to get out of this? Because clearly he lives, you know. And all of a sudden they pew-pewed a tank and there's fire everywhere. And they're just like, he's like, okay, yeah, you can go now.
Not only fire, but the same fire that he just started on purpose.
Right. It just went bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of Ned. He stopped because of Ned. Because Vader is still Anakin, and Anakin has a soft spot for droids.
I think that Vader really wants to engage in the chase.
Yeah.
I think he let him go. And I've seen some of that on Twitter. Why did he let him go? But I really do think that, you know, Anakin is still hurting inside. He really wants that revenge. He's ready to give chase, and maybe he wants him to lead him to his son at this point. So I don't see some of the things that I have are super nitpicky, and they're probably not worth mentioning, but those 2 are probably the biggest things that I hear on the socials regarding things that bother folks about Kenobi.
Yeah. Okay. So my only sticking point with anything that you just said, and as a point of diversion here, does he know? He doesn't know that he has children. He thinks that, you know, he doesn't know till later.
Well, he doesn't know. When does he find out? Because I know he finds out about Luke before Leia. He finds out about Leia in Return of the Jedi. He finds out about Luke way beforehand.
Yeah, he finds out at Luke sometime during New Hope.
Yeah, I think so.
Towards the end of New Hope.
I mean, my thing is like Vader, like Anakin hates Obi-Wan. Like this is one of the biggest reasons he turned to the dark side, other than trying to save Padme. So I don't know. I get where they're going with the whole, like he wants to chase him, but like at the same time, I don't think Vader, first time seeing Kenobi in 10 years, is gonna just be like, I'll just chase him. I think he would just like, boom, like done. Maybe not kill him right away, but like he's not letting him get away. But
I think he's like, a predator playing with his prey.
Right, it's a game of cat and mouse at this point.
Absolutely, yeah. Otherwise, snap his neck, he's gone. Then what?
Right.
He's enjoying the chase. He's enjoying taunting him and making Obi-Wan fear him, and showing Obi-Wan that he is the master that he was denied being. Sorry, Tim.
No, you're fine. I was interrupting you. The only problem I have with that is that he's been playing the cat and mouse game for 10 years, and now you're the cat with the mouse right here in front of you. I I don't know. It's just I'm hoping that in the next episode there's a little bit more explanation as to for the two things that bug the tar out of me for that episode. I'm hoping that there's a little bit of explanation. I can let it go, and I can go, okay, yeah, he just wanted the chase, and
right.
I can move along from there. I do need though for them to explain how Reva got around everything and got to the end of the tunnel.
So
she went.
She's got a map. She's got schematics of the building. And
we were
said,
joking about this on my podcast as well. We all agreed that since the Inquisitors can fly, she decided to fly through the roof and make a giant hole and fly up to the port to beat them there. That's what we agreed upon.
With her helicopter saber?
Yep, exactly.
Totally.
I mean, it is possible.
I mean,
the only thing I was thinking is that we've been given clues that there's something more to Reva than we know, with the feeling like she's probably one of the younglings that they showed at the beginning. That maybe she was taken through one of the safe houses. She was taken through one of the paths. So maybe when she looked and saw the Jedi symbol on the wall, she remembered being there as a kid.
Right.
Remembered where they took her. Because she didn't go through the tunnels because Tala came out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she went around somewhere. Yeah.
So she went out and around. So the only thing I'm thinking is that she knew where she was. She knew where the port was.
Right. And another thing we thought about, I honestly, in my opinion, don't think she's really that obsessed with Kenobi. I think it has more to do with just the Jedi. And just because Kenobi means so much to Vader, she's trying to become closer with Vader, and she just doesn't like the Jedi. Because when she saw that Jedi symbol on the wall, she got pissed. Like, she was mad.
Right.
And even when she saw Kenobi, she didn't really even get that mad. So I'm thinking that her reasoning for everything is basically just trying to become Grand Inquisitor, and she hates the Jedi. I don't think it really has too much to do with Kenobi. I think Kenobi is just so important to Vader that he's immediately important to her as well.
Yeah, and I am curious to see what her motivation is, because they there's that line in episode 3 where she says, or the Inquisitor brother says to her, I hope you get what you're searching for, and she says, I certainly hope you get what you deserve. That's right. That's what it was. You get what you deserve. And her response was, I hope so. I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe Reva wants to gain Vader. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think she would go. I think it would, if that was the case, I think she would be the one stopping the other Inquisitors from hurting innocent people.
Right. I don't think that she'd be hard charging after the Jedi as much as she much as she has, but
she still might want to kill Vader. It might be a thing.
Yeah, she might. Because it does look like if we make the assumption, in the opening scene of episode 1, when Order 66 is going down, out of all the kids there, it looks like that one of them could have been Reva based on skin color and hairstyle and all those other things. You can make that logical leap that maybe that is Reva, and that somehow she survived Order 66. Somebody's put out a theory that possible that Anakin didn't kill all the younglings.
Right.
That he may have. This is how the Inquisitors started.
Right.
Is that he gathered some that he felt had the most force sensitivity or the most force power around them, and took them with him to create the Inquisitors. I
wouldn't mind that, to be honest. It'd make more sense than just having so many younglings survive. Like, we already have Grogu, and we're pretty much. I mean, it's pretty much confirmed that Reva is at this point, just because of the way she reacted to the symbol. So it would make more sense if he did it on purpose. If this many kids just survived, but none of the masters survived, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of wouldn't make sense in my opinion. So I hope so.
Okay.
So, on the why did Vader let Obi-Wan go thing, I found this article earlier. I found it again. It's an article on CBR.com. But in this article, it talks about how Vader's been looking forward to this rematch against Obi-Wan for a decade, and that he may have let him go because he realized that he was only going to be killing Ben Kenobi, not Obi-Wan.
Oh.
That he decided that Obi-Wan wasn't worth his time and his energy because he wasn't up to a full fight.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So he wasn't going to get a repeat of what he had gotten on Mustafar. So
he wouldn't get to show that he was stronger than him because he's not fighting full strength Obi.
Kind of like when Maul said that it would be worse to leave him on Tatooine instead of killing him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Makes sense.
So next episode, are we going to see a Rocky training sequence with Obi-Wan?
I hope so. That's when I don't know. I think we're gonna get that, and then I think the only time Qui-Gon's gonna come in is during their fight. I don't think it's gonna be before.
I want to see the little floating droid and the helmet with his shield, and I want to see all of it. I want to see him go back to his roots.
Put Leia in the backpack
Put Leia in the backpack. Yeah, that'd be entertaining.
There's too many children in Star Wars now.
There's going to be more. There's what is it? I think what show was it that's supposed to be
Jude
about
Law?
the kids? Yeah.
Jude Law, yeah.
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Thanks, Disney. Thanks, Disney.
Just talking about Order 66 saying there's too many children in Star Wars is a little bit
Well, this is my favorite character, so there is kind of a connection. Sorry.
I get that.
It's fair.
All right, excellent. Andrew, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I've just been loving listening to the conversation, in all honesty.
What time is it over there?
It is 20 past midnight. So we're already in Tuesday. Spoiler alert, Tuesday sucks as much as Monday. It's like I say, I've got twin 4-year-old boys, so I don't hear much conversation in general. My wife's not a nerd, so I don't get any of that either. So I've been loving the banter. I've just been soaking in it, and enjoying it, embracing it, and trying to stay awake. I'm only kidding. That's not your guys' arguments. That's just the fact it's midnight over here. One of the things I was thinking about with the whole Vader thing was it wasn't until Catherine kind of brought it up. The fact that he is Ben Kenobi, that he's not killed him yet. It's the same deal. It's like when I watch my cat hunting the mouse, and the mouse dies. And she just goes, bats it a couple of times, and then walks away. It's like, there's no fun anymore. The chase is gone. Right. I'm away. And then I see her try and take out a small bunny. And that's like, at last, a better challenge.
Right.
So that's like the upgrade that he's going for. So you try and take out just a Ben Kenobi. It's like, you're not the guy that did this to me. You're not the guy that owned my ass in episode 3. I had a 12-minute lightsaber fight on Mustafar. I want Obi-Wan. I want full strength Obi-Wan. Tactical, manipulative, cunning. I want to show you all that I have gained from the dark side over this last decade. I've already showed you a glimpse of how I can just snap kids' necks like that. An underrated bit, I must say. Nothing like snapping the child's neck on TV. It was. I think that's the plan. I personally think that the Inquisitor stuff could have been a separate series. They could have been teased in this. It doesn't need so much devoted to it, because you've got our curiosity, get our attention with an Inquisitor series. More money to make, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I would not personally object. I have always wanted a more dark-sided series, to be honest with you. So I'm excited about the potential. It keeps getting thrown out there for the Acolyte series. I'm hoping that's actually going to happen. I hear that it is, then I hear that it isn't, then I hear that it is. And so, if they came out with an Inquisitor series where they're hunting the Jedi and all this, I'd watch. I'd so watch.
They just need to make a Vader series and make it just like the scene when he was walking through. Because if we got more of that, I mean, like I said earlier this week, I mean, they kind of can't go wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to watch it, especially if it's Vader. And as much as there's been people that say they wanted to see Anakin killing the younglings in episode 3, and then a lot of people get mad, why would you want to see that? That's the point. You're not supposed to see it, but it matters to the story. So if they did something like that with Vader, I think it would go over well.
I like this point by Crispy. I honestly think Vader still has Anakin in the suit. He's not fully Vader yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think he's got something to prove to his old master. And I truly think Anakin is still learning this whole shift to the dark side of being Vader. That's a very solid point, very solid argument. And I think that might help explain between that and the I want to fight Obi-Wan, not Ben Kenobi. between those two things, that might explain why he allowed him to walk away or limp away, whatever you want to call it. But it wasn't.
I mean, I agree, but like, dude, it's been 10 years, man. Like, I feel like Vader at this point should already be Vader. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not disagreeing with that's what they might be going for, but in my opinion, like, he should be well past that already. Like, he had to fight to get his Kyber crystal. He had to kill a Jedi and take their Kyber crystal for that. This is all in the comics and stuff like that, but not everyone reads the comics. You know what I mean? So they kind of have to bring some of that to
right. They got to bring it to the screen somehow.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. I think Vader 10 years. It's the same thing. Like, I find it a little hard to believe that it took 10 years for Kenobi to even find out about Vader. You know what I mean? Like, 10 years go by.
Right.
I think he knew who Vader was, but didn't know who he was. He knew of Vader, I think.
Right, but like,
I don't know
though, because in episode 3 he heard, he watched the hologram of Palpatine saying, "Now rise as Lord Vader," right?
But maybe there was no audio like these security cameras at the
but
gas stations.
But didn't Yoda say in Revenge of the Sith, the boy you trained, gone he is, consumed by Vader?
True.
I think there's also an element of disbelief too.
Yeah, definitely.
So, somebody that was so pure, and George Lucas has said it before too. The story of Anakin Skywalker, when we first meet him, he's this sweet little innocent boy. There's absolutely no way he could be so evil. And there's just this, this shift of disbelief. Like, are we seriously, do we seriously think that this Dark Lord is little Anakin? How can that be? I just can't believe it. So I think there might be a little bit of that. I don't know. They're expanding the story so much that it's given us nerds a headache. But
I think there's a lot of the shock, to be honest, with the way Ewan McGregor is doing such a good job at portraying that emotion throughout that whole fight scene. Like, I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah,
and I know for a fact he was scared in real life.
Yes, absolutely.
I heard that.
There's one shot. There's one shot where his hair is all tousled out and he's holding that lightsaber. He's just looking at Vader like, "What the hell am I doing? What is this?"
Right. Yeah.
Really great.
That shot and the one where Reva is calling out to him to tell him that Anakin is still alive, and the look that just the life just drains out of his face, the heartbreak in his face, the heartache, just man, that just punched you right in the feels, just like, oh, poor.
And then culminating right before they cut to Anakin in the bacta tank.
Oh yeah, that first
whispers.
I was like, so.
I do want to shout out Disney as well for using actual light up sabers for filming. It makes such a difference, the glow that you get instead of the CGI. Like, it looks fantastic.
Well, yeah, sabers have come so far, and where they can actually duel with them now, and they can actually do things with them. And
they should get a level up saber. That's what they should.
Right?
Do.
I'm like, I'm looking at mine with the better than a stick.
Better than a stick.
Well, yeah. Look, just imagine being Ewan McGregor, and you go from 17 years ago fighting with these sticks that they edit in post and everything, and then you come back. This is the first time you're seeing Vader in full suit. This is the first time you're fighting. So they went to an actual set. They didn't do it on a green screen or nothing. Like, this was a real set. I don't know if you guys saw, there was the leaked video of when he force pushes him before it came out. So this is a real set. Vader's in the suit, and they're using actual light up sabers. He must have just felt like it was real at that point, because
some of that emotion is genuine for sure.
Oh yeah, very much. There's actually a quote from Ewan out there that says that when he first, because he never, in episode 3, he never saw or was on screen on set with Hayden as Vader, and so in here he is on screen on set with Hayden as Vader in the suit, and he's saying, it was very, it was very scary because you hear things, you see the things, and then here he is with the sword, and it's like, all of a sudden in your mind, oh my God, I'm fighting Darth Vader. So I think a lot of that was legit.
It's the first time too that there's people in the stormtrooper costumes and the clone costumes, and they're not just all CGI later.
Yeah.
But he had that similar experience with walking around the corner and walking into stormtroopers with the, wait a minute, they're actually here. Which I think anybody who's ever gone to a con has had that same experience, that you get wrapped up in the moment, and all of a sudden you're confronted with Darth Vader, or
Boom, 501st,
right,
accurate Vader right in your face.
When my daughter was in the hospital in 2019, one of the cool things that happened, not the hospital part, but one of the cool things that happened is that the 501st actually came and visited us in the hospital.
I still don't know why they send him into.
I don't know why they send. Yeah, why did they send Vader into the
children's
ICU?
hospital?
Yeah, I'm like, this just seems wrong.
Awkward.
What's going on?
But it was also really very cool. Jake's got a puppy fight going on back there.
Yeah, like freaking out.
But yeah, it was really very cool because this guy walked in fully dressed as Vader, the lights all on the chest, and had a little breathing box and the whole 9 yards, and it was just and here's me. So
but I mean,
what's up, George?
I think
the hellos in.
Vader is like everybody's favorite villain. He is the person that you love to hate and kind of hate that you love on some level. Like,
just I'd love to love him. That's it.
I want
it's
more
no guilty
Vader.
Pleasure. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I need more Vader.
Yeah.
I need Vader like we see him at the end of Rogue One. I stood up and I yelled in my movie theater when he comes out, and I'm like, yeah, finally, because Vader, oh yeah, cool. And so to see him walking through the town, just like force pulling people, killing people, doing all the Vader, shenanigans. Yeah, I need so much more of that.
Because we've known this character for 45 years. This character's been around for 45 years. We've never seen full strength Vader. We have never seen rise of power, peak power of the Empire. Just
on a full Sith rampage. Oh, great God!
And I had found a quote I had found a comment on Facebook that I actually shared into one of our Facebook chats last week. I shared it to Tim. That the moment that Obi-Wan is first confronted by Vader and runs for his life, they are no longer equals. Vader is pure malice and rage in a 6'9" suit of armor stronger than a Star Destroyer. 10 years of focusing his wrath on any living thing until he's now perfected the art of killing. And the man responsible is suddenly before him, toying with Obi-Wan while dueling, with zero hesitation dragging him into the fire. Hayden deserved to play the version of Vader that he was always meant to be. Like,
agreed.
I about cried when I read that comment because Hayden Christensen got so much crap.
Oh yeah, undeservedly.
Sure.
For sure.
When it was not.
Well, it's the same thing that's happening with Reva now and Moses Ingram. It's except for with Moses, it's a bunch of racist idiots who can't get their heads out of their backsides long enough to accept that a black woman can be a good actor. And the fact that you don't like her character means that she's doing her job, because she's not supposed to be a likable character. She's an inquisitor. So anyway, before I go off on a rant on that, because
no, that rant needs to happen. That rant needs to happen because Star Wars fans need to be better than that.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. We got a bunch of idiots who you can't accept a woman as as doing something in Star Wars. Rey Skywalker. You can't accept a black person being involved in anything because they're black. Oh my God, there's just. I can't stand the racism. I can't stand the sexism, the inane stupidity of some people who just cannot look past the simple things and just enjoy what's being made. And I will say this quote 1,000,000 times over: nobody hates Star Wars like a Star Wars fan. And it's the saddest thing out there because Star Wars is my nerd home. This is where I get happy, and it kills me when somebody comes in and says some stupid stuff, about people just because you don't like their character. That what they did to Ahmed Best, what they did to Hayden Christensen, what they're doing to Moses Ingram right now, with what they've done to Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, there's a whole
like he stopped acting because of the way that people treated him. And he did not deserve that.
No, nobody does.
And there have been things I've seen online too. And I'm sorry, I'm pulling off of your rant, Tim, because this also pissed me off. With the number of people who give little Leia crap. And it's why would she act like that? Why would she? It's like, no, she's 10. She's 10.
Yeah.
She's a princess. She's going to act like a princess. But also, anybody who says that they're a fan of Leia knows that that attitude is going to be there her whole life. And if
so perfectly represented.
There are so many people. There have been videos I've seen on TikTok where if you say that you're a fan of Princess Leia, but you don't appreciate the way that she's being portrayed as a child, then you are not a fan of Leia. You just had a crush on Carrie Fisher.
Right.
There's a difference.
I will say, to kind of not like oppose your arguments here, but to kind of like bounce off of it, I did critique some of the stuff that Moses did in the beginning because of the writing. It had nothing to do with her. You know, the whole thing with like Owen and her not being able to like know that Luke was at his farm kind of irritated me, because then literally like not even 20 minutes later, she reads the fake Jedi's mind and knows exactly what he's thinking. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that that bothered me, and it did kind of irritate me because I mentioned that, and I didn't get hate for it, but like I got a little like
flack
for it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but like, there's a huge difference though with pointing out that you can dislike a character. You can dislike how that character is written. Because if you listen to anything I've ever done, when I talk about Star Wars Attack of the Clones, I tear up the lake scene and the bad and the there are things that Hayden Christensen did in that series that he was directed to do that I don't like. No. But I don't hate Hayden Christensen for doing them. Right. I'm actually upset with George Lucas for writing the stupid movie that way.
Who let and make write dialogue?
Right. You know, George is a great man, has great ideas, should never be let anywhere near a keyboard to write dialogue. But, you know, so yeah, if you have you know, something that you don't like about her the way her character is written, that's fine. I got no problem with that. And you can dislike. There are other characters I don't like, the things that I don't like about Star Wars. Just because you're a Star Wars fan doesn't mean you have to like everything that's presented. But you also don't have to be a dick about it and go after somebody because of their gender or their color or whatever.
I feel too like it is so typical Star Wars that we're going to have those convenient plot holes because of story.
They've been there.
Plot holes all the time. Stormtroopers are terrible aims when suddenly main characters are on screen.
Right.
This Jedi or this Inquisitor who can read people's minds suddenly can't read Owen's mind and find out that, you know, first of all, Skywalker?
Right.
Ring a bell anywhere? No? Not going to be able to read his mind to be like, oh yeah, no, Obi-Wan's right there.
Right.
Right there. How did she not feel Obi-Wan? If she can feel the Force in people, how did she not feel that?
Right.
Nice job.
I mean, like I said, the plot holes have been there. You know, You see Anakin putting his hood on Mustafar. He doesn't have a glove on. He's got a full hand, even though it's supposed to be cut off. You know, and then Anakin is about to kill Obi-Wan on Mustafar in their fight, and they switch shots, and it's a different saber in his hand for the same shot. So stuff like that, like, it happens. So critique it when it happens, but it has nothing to do.
Critique it. In total. Point out issues you have. That's fine. I have no problem with that.
The actors.
Yeah. So we went way over on this topic.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be able to get to Stranger Things tonight, but I do want to just say,
I'm only on season 1. That's the only reason I'm clapping.
She's a little bit behind, or a lot. But so just to wrap this whole Obi-Wan Kenobi talk up, I'm actually very much looking forward to Wednesday. I'm hoping to see more Vader and Obi-Wan interaction, and I'm hoping that by the end of this season, whether it's a one-off season or they actually do in fact make a season 2, if they do make a season 2, I'm hoping that we start to see stuff. I'm hoping that season 1 is his interactions with Leia. Season 2, there's some level of interaction with Luke. I don't want them to force it and try and cram Luke into this season, because I don't think that's where it's going personally. But
I'm honestly okay if they don't bring Luke into it, because we get enough Luke in the original trilogy.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. And besides,
and the sequels, and the Mandalorian, and the Book of Boba Fett.
Right. Okay. I heard that Aunt Beru is going to take a more prominent role in the second half of this series. So, which might mean more Luke.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I got no problem with it. I just want to make sure that there's enough time given to finish the story with Leia, and because now she's in the hands of Reva, so now I want to see where this goes, and
I want to see if we get Leia up against Vader for the very first time. If we get 10-year-old sassy Leia staring him dead in the face, telling him that no, he's wrong. Like,
well,
that would be great.
Before we just leave that topic, I think Reva is going to be turned to the light side by Leia, and I think Reva is actually going to return her to Obi-Wan. I think that's how it's going to happen.
That would be really cool. I would be a fan of that. I'd be a fan of that.
Because that's the only thing we haven't seen from the trailer yet. I looked through the whole trailer. We've seen every scene except for the fight scene where Reva is deflecting blaster bolts on the Inquisitor base.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think she's going to take Leia? To the Inquisitor base. So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is going to be shooting at her on the base other than stormtroopers? So we'll see.
Why can't Wednesday be tomorrow? And I want to see this. Dang it. Okay.
Wednesday is tomorrow over with Andrew.
Well, for Andrew, yeah, but he's in the future, so that doesn't really count.
Yep.
Still
sucks.
Can confirm. Still sucks.
Yep.
All right. Just reminder too for Wednesday that we've got Ms. Marvel coming out on Disney Plus. So I'm actually a little curious, I got curious, but more interested as to why they're putting both shows on Wednesday and not one of them on Wednesday, one of them on Friday. But whatever, I don't care. It gives me 2 things to watch on Wednesday. So, and then 2 more things now to have to wait a week to watch. And
have we gotten any not leaks, but plot storyline for Miss Marvel? I don't know. I pay attention to the Marvel stuff. I watch it all, but I don't deep dive into it. I kind of just enjoy it. I don't like to.
So that's pretty much where I am, especially some characters I'd dive a little deeper on. Ms. Marvel is not one of them.
Yep.
I'm interested in her storyline. And right now on Disney Plus, there's about a 5-minute preview video kind of showing what you can expect out of the series, who the series has been made for, why, and I think one of the coolest things that I've seen said about the movie, or not the movie, but about the series, was actually from Straw Hat Goofy, Juju on TikTok.
Shout out.
Yeah, that dude, he's my movie guy.
Love that guy.
Someday he'll come to my show, hopefully.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so.
I would love to have him on the show. That he is such a cool dude. But anyway, he talks about how there's with the way that they interact and people talk in the show. It reminds him a lot of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, with a touch of Into the Spider-Verse. And I'm like, yes, please. Scott Pilgrim is one of my favorite movies. It's a fantastic movie. And I'm kind of hoping that is truly what it's going to be like. But Kamala Khan has got some really cool powers, and they changed up her powers a little bit. And some people are really unhappy about that. But I also think that because of her embiggen powers, which made she was able to stretch out her hands and things like that. I think that they changed it up a little bit and gave her some cosmic energy so that it would be a little easier to film, a little less CGI.
Right.
I'm thinking, but yeah, it's a pretty cool, interesting storyline. It's all about a young lady who wants to be Carol Danvers so badly. She's idolizes her and wants to be a superhero. Exactly.
Does that end before Thor comes out, or is that going to be running through? When does Thor come out?
I think Thor's in July. End of July, I think.
Yeah, I think end of July.
So I think it should end, and then it'll go straight to Thor.
Oh, well, that's what I'm looking for. Something about Thor.
It's only like 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
July 8th.
Yeah, 6 weeks. I think.
So yeah, it's going to be running really close to one another, and then this show leads into the Captain Marvel sequel, and then Kamala Khan will be in the sequel movie as well. So,
can I admit something? I actually have never even watched the Captain Marvel movie. I saw a breakdown on it, and I heard it sucks, so I never watched the whole thing.
You need to watch it.
It's not that bad. Obviously you get all these people doing, breakdowns in the videos and stuff like that for whatever, but I didn't think it was that horrible.
It's like I think that's the only Marvel movie I haven't seen for the MCU, to be honest.
Yeah, you should watch it. I think part of the reason why people gave it such a bad rap is that they didn't like Brie Larson.
Mm-hmm.
And they're because she has been involved in some social justice stuff, and so people gave her flag. It's almost the same thing that they're doing to Moses Ingram, except for Bree's white.
Right.
Okay.
I think it was also down to the fact that they wanted the person that they thought deserved the first solo female-led movie in the MCU was Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. Well, and the fact that Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman had beat them to the punch as well. What with DC was very ropey, still is ropey, but you know what I mean. That irked a lot of people, gave them up the wrong way, and they bailed out before they gave it a decent judgment. Because me, massive Marvel dork right here, know all the stuff about it. I'd gone about that all day. But yeah, I really thought it was good, and I think Jude Law didn't get enough credit either. I think he done really well.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty solidly told story. I think they do really well with it. It's, and some people got a little upset because there's, they showed a woman being strong, and then and so instead of giving it credit for a woman being strong and allowing girls to have heroes too, now she's trying to be stronger than a man, and look at what she's doing, and like a lot of people put it out like she was pushing a feminist agenda. I'm like, even if she is, so what? We've been pushing male agendas for so long. Why can't why can't little girls have somebody to look up to as well? So, but yeah. So yeah, if you haven't watched Captain Marvel, go check it out. It's one of those things. It actually adds quite a bit to the stories, the other ones, and it kind of fills in some holes in the MCU as well. So, if there'll be things that you have that as you're watching that movie where you go, oh yeah, I saw that and that other one. Oh yeah, I saw that in another one. So yeah, if you've got Disney Plus, you might as well get your use out of it and go watch it. So
at least watch it while you're drunk.
If nothing else, it's got a killer soundtrack. So
yeah,
But then again, I'm a child of the '90s, and there's a lot of '90s music in that movie. So
it's got Samuel Jackson with two eyes. That's a massive plus point right there.
Fair point.
Or if you want to get drunk while watching it, there is a Captain Marvel drinking game.
No.
Yeah, there is.
There you go.
Sounds like a good
man, no, you're gonna be dead.
You're gonna lose your liver and probably one of your kidneys, but yeah, you can play the game. You can definitely play the game. So
sorry, the fourth one on the list is there's 90s music. You're gonna be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, every time that oh boy.
Every time you see Boost.
But Ms. Marvel starts up this Wednesday. Like I think it goes off about 6 weeks, and we'll have an opportunity. Kathleen, no more drinking games.
But drinking is the best because I'm not the one drinking.
But we'll have opportunity to talk about this a little more in upcoming episodes. I'm really excited about it. My daughter's a big fan of Kamala Khan, and so I'm excited to see what her thoughts and opinions are, because this is the story of a teenage girl. It's a coming of age story. It's a teenage girl getting her powers, trying to come to bring her own mind together about herself and the changes that she's gone through as a 14, 15-year-old teenager, and then getting powers on top of that, and then having to deal with that because there's still things with boys and all these other things, and all this normal teenage girl stuff on top of that. So I think
miss being a teenage girl.
I mean, after Multiverse of Madness, I don't doubt that they're gonna pull this show off pretty well. They did what's that character's name? America Chavez.
America Chavez. Yeah.
They did her character very well. So if it's anything like that,
Multiverse was so weird.
It was.
I liked it. It was good.
I thought it would be weirder and difficult to follow because of all the multiverses, but I think they made it.
They streamlined it pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
Yeah, I thought it had real potential to kind of go off the rails and kind of be like, they're going to need another movie to sew up everything.
Yeah, right. But they did pretty well.
Yeah. I still think that it was a WandaVision moving in hiding and called it Doctor Strange, because in my opinion, Doctor Strange for the most part was Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. He really didn't need to be there for the movie to move along.
Right.
Most of the things that happened in Doctor Strange didn't need to be there.
His character arc literally just was a flat line. Nothing changed.
It went down. Spider-Man No Way Home, he was much better than in his own actual film. He's been better than the side characters in all the other films, and he was in his own film.
But
again, it was Scarlet Witch in the Multiverse of Madness. That's just what it was.
Although the Doctor Strange in the zombie Doctor Strange was
pretty cool.
That was really weird and really cool.
That was Sam Raimi being Sam Raimi.
Yes, sir.
That was very much, snuck a little Living Dead in there. So,
If you can get Bruce Campbell, you can get anybody.
I still love that. Yeah, the little the cut scene at the end of the movie where he's like, "It's over. It's finally over." So, all right, guys, before we go into our conclusion and start wrapping up things, let's give everybody one more chance to remind them where to find you guys. Andrew, we'll start again with you, please.
Mine's is pretty simple. That's on my background. Best place is YouTube. To get all the stuff. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For all the socials. That Mental Ginger Show, SuperGinge, and the Ginger Engine. Just look Ginger. I'm normally there.
There you go. Very good. Jake?
All right, guys. So Jake the Jedi on TikTok, as you might know. Champions of the Force is the podcast, but it's still on my YouTube, Jake the Jedi. I want to shout out one more thing. We just launched my Discord server. I had help from a buddy in New Zealand. He made it for me. So shout out to him. Go join the Discord server. We're doing a bunch of stuff in there. So check it out.
Perfect.
In my bio on TikTok, if I didn't say that.
There you go. Ro?
Well, you can find me and my other two co-hosts, Brad and Chantel, over at the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. We do our shows live on Saturday and pre-recorded every week, drops on Thursday, talking about Star Wars and other nerd things, just having fun. That's the Scuttlebutt.
Perfect. All right. So last Friday, our guests on our pre-recorded episode were Eric and Julia Lewald. The Lewalds have been part of such shows as the 1990s X-Men animated series, Young Hercules, the RoboCop animated series, Darkwing Duck, and a whole lot more. The Lewalds are also involved in the resurgence of the X-Men animated series that's coming back to Disney Plus called X-Men 97. And we talked to them about that as much as their NDAs would allow.
Hi, we're Eric and Julia Lewald.
And we're here with a funny science fiction podcast.
All right, that episode is still available on our YouTube channel, on the Funny Science Fiction Podcast channel. And remember that your subscription to our YouTube channel is a major help. So please do not forget to click like and subscribe after you watch the video.
Do it.
We did hit 500. We have 500 YouTube subscribers.
508 right before we came on. So
Woo-hoo!
if you're watching and you haven't clicked that like and subscribe button on YouTube, pretty please, sugar on top, all that kind of stuff. Anyway.
All right. Our guest for this Friday is a very talented voiceover artist that is known for roles like Tony Stark and Iron Man in the Marvel animated series What If. I don't even know how to pronounce this character's name now.
Heimerdinger.
Because you've said it wrong so many times, my brain doesn't want to say it.
Yes, I know. But I say that for my daughters. I say Hammerdinger for my daughter just because it annoys her, but it is Heimerdinger.
So yes, Heimerdinger from Arcane. He's done Ho from Kung Fu Panda, Kozlo in Attack on Titan, and many, many more.
Hey, this is Mick Wingert, and you're listening to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
I'm the voice of Heimerdinger, and we're about to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I love that. I just love that countdown. It cracks me up every time. All right, so Friday we're excited to welcome Mick Wingert to the show. He's an amazing, as mentioned, amazing voice actor with some pretty cool nerdy roles. We of course talk about those. We talk about his entry into the voiceover world, and there's lots of very entertaining conversation about the loss of a tegu. Now, if you don't know what a tegu is, think Godzilla, just a lot smaller. It's basically a very large snake with legs. Anyway, we talk about that. It is entertaining though. My cabbages. Anyway, you'll get that when you watch the episode. Anyway, he hints about something in the show, and you may have seen a picture of the Joker go by in that preview. So Mick is officially portraying the Joker in the new kids show Bat Wheels on Cartoon Network and HBO Max as well. So you guys can find him on that fine show now as well. So be sure to tune in Friday morning. You can find that, of course, on your favorite audio podcast provider. If we're not on your favorite audio podcast provider, please let us know, and we'll make sure that that we get there. And of course, you can find us on YouTube and subscribe there. And then, of course, oh yeah, I forgot we need to talk about
next
this.
week is going to be
hell, apparently.
Exciting!
John is our game master. He's also our editor for our show. He is far too excited about the fact that our RPG game is next week, Monday. So if you're still watching and you want to watch us take on a Star Wars RPG campaign and watch me utterly fail while everybody else knows what they're doing, and I'm sitting there going, what? What do I do now? Where? What?
Is no failing in an RPG.
Yes, there is. I did it last time. So anyway, but you guys can join us, and we'll have a big announcement coming up, and we're going to talk about that next week, Monday. Big show announcement, and so we're hoping that you guys can tune in. We'll talk about the announcement first, and then we'll get into the game. It'll be lots of fun.
Remember,
all right.
Next week is 6:30 p.m., not 7.
Yes, we're starting next because of the length of the show. We are starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if Andrew wants to watch, he gets to start watching a half hour earlier and doesn't have to stay up till all the god-awful hours of the night. So, all right, guys. Andrew, thank you so much. Jake, thank you so much. Ro, thank you so much for being here and taking part in the Funny Science Fiction Podcast. That's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Everybody, thank you so much for watching and paying attention to our little show here. Goodbye.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.